You may hate it, but it ain't no lie. We've got buys.
It turns out Brandon has no idea who NSYNC is. He had to look this
know,
up.
I know who NSYNC is.
And he sang it wrong.
I just don't know the lyrics to the song.
You guys missed us talking about this before we turned this on.
I don't know the lyrics to the song because I never own an NSYNC album, unlike Anthony and Gregory, who may or may not, one of them, or it's maybe in Ohio, own a Britney Spears / NSYNC McDonald's album. I want to know if that's still around. I know it exists. Find that.
Gregory, Anthony, or Aunt Teresa, please find this for us.
Yeah. Anyways.
The odds of Anthony and or Gregory bringing that to their own new homes
100%.
Likely doubtful.
100%. We're a minute into this podcast. We have no idea what we're talking about in terms of football. This is now a Britney Spears NSYNC McDonald's podcast. Welcome to the show. Okay.
Do you know any facts about NSYNC and or Britney Spears?
No.
Free Britney.
Okay. Yeah, that's a YouTube thing. Anyways, welcome everybody. We've taken a week off. Clearly, we don't know what we're doing anymore.
We never knew what we were doing.
But we've got a jam-packed thing for you tonight. Or whatever time you're watching, listening to this.
Or not watching.
Or not, because, I don't know, you're William and it took you like 2 years to see this. We've got 2 peaks of the week to go through from the past weeks. We've got some pick sixes to do, and then we need to talk about buys and what's going down. So, Amanda, start us off with week 5.
Well, we'll do 5 and 6. We'll go through each category.
Okay, we'll do 5 and 6 together. So weeks 5 and 6 peaks of the week. What do we got?
Let's talk high score. So overall in week 5 was crazy with numbers, and the opposite was true with week 6.
Yeah.
But for week 5, our high score.
What is this?
Goes to Brandon.
What? Yes.
At 188.
Yes.
There were some honorable mentions. I would like to give some honorable mentions.
There were some good mentions.
To Gregory, who scored 178. Myself, who scored 176. And don't salt on Uncle Rob. He scored 165.
Jeez, Uncle Rob.
It's a huge week for all the players.
We need to. That was that 188 or whatever I had. I need to go back at some point and see if that beat out season 1, week 1, where Uncle Chris puts up the largest record score in a week. The very first week of our football anything. Some people have come close in the past, and we've like back tallied. You know, we've undone the PPR and we've changed the touchdowns and what.
He means.
I'm gonna go do this, and I've come close. So I'm gonna see if I've beat it. Gregory was thinking he was gonna get close, but I swooped in.
Well, don't get too excited because, you know, you did really well in week 5 along with everyone else, but in week 6. Chris got 182.
Yeah, Chris crushed it week 6.
Everyone did so bad except for Chris and his opponent. I always feel like it's a travesty when an opponent just would have beaten everyone with the exception of their opponent, which is what happened to Jenna, who scored 166.
Yeah, to give you an idea of how bad last week was, so if you take everybody except Uncle Chris and Jenna, our average scores were 115. Which we've done an average in the past, and you know we like as a league, you know, we should be averaging around like 125, 130. That's like, you know, the average in the PPR for us. We averaged 115. Those two averaged 174 between them, and those both like just huge scores. It was stupid. So shame on the rest of us, and sorry Jenna, you had 2. Did she lose back-to-back weeks to the high score?
She did, actually. In worst loss category, you delivered her the worst loss in week 5 at negative 83 points.
Yeah.
And in week 6, Julie had the worst loss. She lost to William.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did neither of these players who had the worst loss actually had the lowest score. In week 5, William had the lowest score with 92.
Wow. The Sharknado slowing down.
He had a really strong start. And William, I believe, lost in week 5. And then in week 6, Anthony had our low score of 95.
And he lost to Gregory last week. Yeah. The brother matchup.
And most valuable player for week 5, it goes to Anthony. Mark Andrews, who is a tight end, scored 42 points, which is literally insane for a tight end.
Really?
Yes.
Holy smoke.
Yeah, so in week 5...
Was that week 5 or week 6?
Week 5.
Okay, week 5 that happened.
That was because Lamar Jackson put up
Oh,
49
Lamar.
points.
Lamar.
Quarterbacks went insane in week 5.
They did.
Tom Brady scored 47, Lamar Jackson scored 50, and Justin Herbert scored 51.
So many points. And then week 6 they were just like, yeah, we worked hard last week. We get one off because Lamar put up like 13 for me. And
well, the valuable player
Herbs did nothing.
The valuable player, undisputed, week 6 was Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
So week 6, William. Let's paint this picture. William is about to lose to Sherry.
No, he's going up against Julie.
No, he went up against. Oh, you're
right.
right.
I was up against Sherry last week.
Yep. So William is going up against Julie. Julie is envisioning getting out of the doghouse. She's going to be in the same record. It's going to be so good. She's going to be 2-4. A lot of people are 2-4. It's going to be happy days.
Feels so bad for her.
And all of a sudden, Monday night hits, and Derrick Henry comes stomping around, making sure that the Tennessee Titans win, and he scores himself 36 points. He outscored every quarterback in our league this week.
Yeah, he played phenomenally. That was also, if you're following the family chat on your phone, I said, this player needs to not score or something, and they scored, and then I predicted Derrick Henry would just go monster, and he did. Like, the man he's insane. Like, that is, in my opinion, slam first overall pick every season just because he's never getting injured, and he's always going to do well.
Is he never getting old?
And
he's not going to age?
Look, it doesn't matter if he gets old. You just can't bring him down. Everybody's like a little kid out there playing against him. That's just how I feel about that.
And I would like to say worst player. And I'm going to say it's the same player both weeks, and it's our same manager choosing to play this player.
Ooh, hold on. Is it a defense first off?
It's not a defense.
Okay, so it's an actual player.
We usually don't stick to really bad defenses 2 weeks in a row.
Which we'll talk. I need to do a deep dive into defenses this year because defenses are off/under the charts. Was it Anthony?
It was not Anthony.
It was not Anthony. Was it me?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, just tell us. I don't know.
It was Mr. I don't know how to join the draft and let the draft pick for me. Oh, look, turns out I don't have a single quarterback. William played Daniel Jones 2 weeks in a row. In week 5, Daniel Jones scored 4.8 points.
No.
And in week 6, Daniel Jones put up 4.08.
Back-to-back fours?
Back-to-back fours.
Oh, my goodness.
And William stuck with him, Daniel Jones.
That is faith in a man who we watched wobble off the field in week 5. There are quarterbacks out there, people. Uncle Rob just picked one up on waivers. He picked up my personal least favorite quarterback, Derek Carr. But there are quarterbacks out there. Like, yeah, they're like long shots, so to speak. They're not going to put up Derrick Henry, I mean, like Josh Allen numbers, but they're going to put up more than 4.
Yeah, so
you got to play to win.
Worst player goes to William 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And there were worse defenses both weeks, but a 4-point
quarterback. You got to hate losing to him when he has a 4-point quarterback, but what are you going to do? Okay, let's get into this week's Pick 6. Okay, so here are the lineups for this week. You can quickly scroll through them and see. We're doing this cold, but it's me versus 12th place, Julie.
Julie, we're sorry.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you, and so were the NFL standings at the beginning of the year, but we've really had to give up on you.
Yeah. It does not help either.
She's got a couple bad buys, doesn't she?
She's got some bad buys. She also has a million injuries if you look at her team, and it really doesn't help that
Aaron Rodgers doesn't play well.
Well, 1, Aaron Rodgers is garbage this year, but 2, her quarterback, Nick Chubb, got injured, and Kareem Hunt is also injured, and instead of picking up the backup...
She let Jenna do it.
She let Jenna do it, which we all let Jenna do it. What is wrong with us? But maybe you've got a good running back situation. You feel very comfortable with that right now, and you're not worried about it, so you just let it slide, and you're hoping that guy clogs her bench.
We do know that Jenna follows football better than all of us, probably combined.
But yeah, Jenna made that pick up this week, so I think I'm winning this one. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you, Brandon. You've been on a roll. I really want to make it seem like you're not gonna win, but I think you're gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it, even with some buys, which we'll get into in a second.
Yep.
Between Will and Brian, this is a big matchup. 4-2 William versus the 3-3 Brian, which 3-3 in this league is 8th place. Like, that's because there's a bunch of 3-3 of us all clogging.
Yeah. Well, before we got to talk a little bit. Even the matchups are so close. The standings are just in general very tight.
Yeah.
Really everybody's got a chance.
It is getting to the point where
maybe except for Julie.
Yeah, everybody but Julie.
Sorry, Julie.
We're getting to the point where like there's a few people sliding ahead in that 4 and 2 slot, and there's some people in the 3 and 3, and it's really going to come down to these next few weeks.
Oh yeah, because so who's 4 and 2? There's 4 of us. There's me.
There's you. Brian. No, not Brian. William. William's 4 and 2.
Gregory.
4 and 2. Gregory's 4 and 2.
And our unexpected leader.
Right here. Uncle Rob.
And
Uncle Rob's 4 and 2.
One of the reasons that he is so unexpected, because if you actually look at his points for, it's actually really low. So he is like winning.
It's really bad.
Let's
take a look at this real quick.
This is a
winning sidebar.
Despite having
so here's Uncle Rob.
Relatively low points.
Here's Uncle Rob tied with all these players. And then let's go look at points for, right? Here's Uncle Rob, 712. Mm-hmm. Okay, give me an idea. Like Gregory, 866. That's like an entire really good game in front of Uncle Rob. Look at Amanda, 793. Like almost a game in front of Uncle. Like everybody who's 4 and 2 is putting up nearly 800.
Except for Gregory, who's way ahead.
Yeah, except for Gregory, who's way ahead. But like Uncle Rob is just breaking 7. What? He's 4 and 2, people. Yeah. He's 4 and 2. Okay.
Sorry for the sidebar. We had to go there.
Sidebar. Had to go there. Who do you think's taking it between William and Brian?
You know what? Having watched William play Daniel Jones 2 weeks in a row, I really just don't think he's paying attention enough to beat Brian.
Are you looking at this? Look who's in his lineup. Daniel Jones. I'm going with Brian too. Although you got to feel like a little nervous with this, projection here, because that's 117 and William still has a person yet left to play, so that's only going up. And Derrick Henry can just do it again. But I'm feeling Brian here. I'm feeling Brian's going to do something crazy and pull it out.
He does have 9.
I know
maybe
Brian.
Maybe he has to change his lineup. Maybe someone's injured or something.
Yeah, maybe Brian has someone in, but they're on bye. I don't know. Let's go down to this 4 and 2 versus 4 and 2. Someone's losing. Someone's getting bumped.
Gregory is on fire right now.
It's Gregory.
It has to be Gregory.
Gregory's winning this. I cannot see a situation where Gregory doesn't win this. I am just Stafford's been going nuts. He's got Cordell Patterson who's going crazy. Like I see Gregory winning this all the way. I see him going 5 and 2. He's pretty much a lock at this point to make playoffs.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go Chris. Chris, I think Chris had a couple of bad losses recently. Not last week. He ended up pulling it out from Jenna. But I think he's gonna win. I
think Chris is gonna take this one as well. I just see his team having some explosive firepower and him taking it.
Ooh, me and Anthony next. We both have 3 people on bye.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this in detail in a moment, but yeah, look at this. You each have 3 people on bye. Like, get to your benches and make some moves.
Yeah.
Because of that, this is kind of hard to call, but if we go back to the standings, Anthony's got like very low points for, and Amanda's, playing much better. So I'm going to have to side with Amanda here. I think she's going to go 5 and 2. I think her and Gregory are going to be sitting at the top of the food chain, which I don't exactly like, because that is sliding them in for a bye right now. But
I've been joking with Brandon. If I'm going to root against myself, it's going to be next week during when I play Uncle Rob. Beat me last year.
I'm hoping Uncle Rob beats you again. I am hoping, and I put this somewhere. I think I told Gregory this. I am hoping Uncle Rob goes 9 and 2 the rest of the season. I hope from here on out he goes undefeated and then wins a championship. And I hope at the end of it he has the least points for on average.
Well, let's talk about how great Rob is. Rob beat his son on his birthday.
Right?
How cool is that?
Happy birthday, Uncle Rob.
Happy birthday, Rob, and keep winning. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, I want him to get the back-to-back. I want him to have the lowest points for, and I want him to go victorious the entire way out. I want it to be that crazy. And last but not least, certainly not least, this is probably one of the more interesting games to watch this week.
This is going to be tough to call because it looks like they both have some buys happening.
They both got some buys. Jenna's up in the projection, and she's got more players to put in.
Yeah.
But this is where it matters right here, because whoever wins this is going 4 and 3. They're really solidifying their place to the playoffs. Whoever loses this though is 3 and 4, and that's gonna hurt. I
gotta give it to Jenna. I think she had a rough loss last week, and she's gonna pull through this week.
I think it's gonna happen. Although 3rd time's the charm, and Nick could have the high score of the week.
Has he had a high score yet?
No, but I did it, and then Uncle Chris did it. Why not, Nick?
Why does it have anything to do with it?
Well, because Jenna keeps losing to the high scores.
Oh.
We're sitting here like, oh, there's no way Nick can win. Nick puts up like a 213-point week. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Matt Ryan throw 30 touchdowns. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our pick 6. Now, just in case you missed it and you're like looking at your score, so like let's just jump in here real quick. Let's just jump into the Amanda Ant-Man matchup real quick because they have so many people on bye. One of the things to be aware of this week is there are a lot of players on bye. Look at this right here. Anthony's got Cole Beasley in his flex. Cole Beasley is on bye. Amanda's got the Jacksonville Jaguars as her defense.
I'm not
they
actually
are
gonna play
on
them.
bye. Yeah, you're not going to play them. But
I wasn't gonna play them
there
even if they
are
weren't on
a
bye.
lot of teams on bye this week. There are 6 of them, and
the
they're all the good
Jaguars
ones.
being on bye though does hurt me because James Robinson has been a great running back and he's on bye.
Yeah, so we're going to tell you about all of them just in a second.
What?
So, what were you going to say? One of the
difficult things about this bye week is that some of the high-powered offense teams
they're all missing.
They're all missing.
They're all
so
missing.
we got the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's been on fire.
You got Dak, you got Zeke, you got Tony Pollard as a flex. You've
Amari
got Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. You got the tight end Schultz. Like
huge players.
That's half my team right there.
Yeah. So the Cowboys are on bye. Another huge one is the Bills.
You've got Josh Allen. You've got Beasley. You've got a good running game. You've got good tight ends there. Like you've got a great defense. That Jolie's probably, crying that she can't play them.
No one should cry over defense.
When your defense can put up 22 points sometimes instead of negative, like that's a big deal. Chargers are out.
That was Justin Herbert's right now is
Herbs.
my quarterback. He's doing great, and I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah, and if you've got Mike Williams like I do, like the one player I need to score well in order to really give me those wins, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, Mike Williams put up 37 points in week 5.
And then only a few in week 6. So, Vikings, they're out. So if you got Thielen or Cook, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers, they're out this week.
Brandon hates the Steelers.
The Steelers aren't a good team unless you're playing Najee. If you're playing Najee,
which is Chris,
sorry, you don't have Najee this week. That's a big hit. Other than that, meh. And like you said, Jacksonville's out. So
yeah, the only one that really matters is James Robinson, and I have him, so I deal with it.
But a lot of big players out this week, which means that if you see your opponent has some buys floating over there, and you see their bench is just filled with injuries, or they can't fill that bench out, then maybe if you're desperate for a win, you go steal a player that they might be looking at. If you know they need a quarterback, maybe you snipe one. You're not going to play them, but they're gone. Your opponent can't either. And, if you're one of those teams that you desperately need a win, maybe that's a tactic you take. Maybe if you're sitting 4-2 and you already feel like you're getting a win, you don't hurt your bench to do that. But there's a lot of players that are going to be out this week. Next week, there's another big bye week. Ravens aren't playing. So, be aware of that. Bye weeks are here. They are here to stay, and you need to start planning in advance if you haven't. Especially for this week. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. Anything else? Okay, well, we started with this. We'll end with it. Bye, 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 bye.